After my BTech, I got a placement with ICICI as a software developer with a great package, which I dropped to pursue my HR career. And post my MBA, I started my HR career with 5 times lesser package than what I got after my BTech. And just to give you a little context, say for example, if in ICICI I was getting 50,000 per month in hand, post MBA it was like getting 10,000 in hand per month. So the difference was really huge. So do I regret it? Let's find out in this video. And I will talk about few things which are not really well known to people who aspire to start in HR. Do remember, this video is not to scare you. I am just sharing this information so that you can set right expectations and you can come more equipped and prepared to be a HR. So on that note, let's get started. Before we jump onto the video, I wanted to share that you can now enroll in my HR courses. A lot of students who have taken it are sharing their experiences on the LinkedIn and they are loving it. So if you want to learn real practical HR, the day-to-day activities of HR from me, then you can check out the course. Link is in the description box and the comment section. Number one thing that I didn't know is that if you are not graduated from top premier institutes, tier 1 like XLRI, IM and all of that stuff, then it doesn't matter from which college you are graduated. I mean, your MBA or PGDM, is it tier 2, tier 3, tier 4? I'm not sure if that exists, but it doesn't matter after that from where you graduated. It's all the same. Companies will treat you in the same pool of candidates. So basically there are only two categories: premium college graduates and everybody else. So I didn't want to waste my years preparing for premier institute. So without wasting any time, I jumped on to doing my PGDM right after my BTech. So at that point in time, I knew that why I am not going for premier institutes. I knew what I'm doing. I had confidence in my skills. I thought if post BTech I can grab that opportunity, then post MBA I can definitely grab some great opportunities. And it wasn't that I did my BTech from a really great college. I mean, it's a good college, but it's not that it was some tier 1 college, and I still grabbed a very good opportunity. So I had all that faith in my abilities. But MBA has a different market. MBA jobs have a very different market, and especially when it comes to HR. And you'll be surprised to see that you will have to start from very small. The beginnings will be really humble, and you have to really prove yourself to go further. And obviously once you are in the field, you can prove your skill and you can definitely grow and catch up, but beginnings are going to be painful. There will be a lot of competition, and not to forget, a lot of companies mention this as a criteria in their job descriptions, that we are inviting candidates only from premier institutes. So you already got filtered out there, so you cannot apply even if you are better than them. Yes, you can be better than them. I have met many people who are graduated from premier institutes, and you see that yes, there are a lot of smart people, but there are a lot of people who are equal to you, and there are a lot of people who are not as smart as you. I mean, there are all kind of people that you'll meet from these premier institutes, but it's just that label on their resume really help them to kickstart. But do remember, I'm sharing from my personal experience that if you are not really into HR, and even if you got that label on your resume, that will not take you very far. I mean, very soon people in the management or people in your team will understand that you are not that worth it, because these people are paid really high, and if they do not prove their worth, then it's going to be equally difficult for them. So I think I got a little off track here. The point I wanted to make was that if you are not coming from premier institutes, then it doesn't matter how much you spent on your MBA, on your PGDM, how good the college was, blah blah blah. You have to start really small. Come prepared and come with right expectations. I am sharing from my personal experience that it took me some time. It took me a lot of time to process the fact and to believe the fact that I'm actually starting post my master's degree at a lower pay scale than what I was getting post my graduation. That's the fact. That's the reality check you need. And also, it's gonna be fine later. I mean, you will catch up, everything will fall into place eventually, but beginnings will be a little tough. Second point, which most of the people do not realize when they come to HR, is that HR is a support function. For people who do not know or who are not yet familiar with how corporate works, is that there are a variety of departments, but majorly they are categorized into these two categories. One is support functions. Support functions are like HR, finance, IT, admin, or facilities related to that. Basically, departments who do not generate any revenue for the company directly or indirectly. Others are core functions, or you can say billable departments, by which company earns revenue. I mean, those people are responsible for bringing the revenue for the company directly on or indirectly. Now, why this is important for you to understand is because HR being a support function, it does not get as much attention from the management and as much funds from the management as other department gets. So that means your hikes, your growth will be limited, not be at par with how people in core teams are growing. And that's just the reality. To give you better context so that you understand, I am putting it in a very layman language. I want to give you one example. So support teams are seen as how a homemaker is seen in any household and how an earning man is seen in any household. The man gets all the attention, all the value, all the consideration, while people disregard the efforts which any homemaker puts in managing the home. So basically everybody thinks it's just the efforts of that earning man, and everybody in the society tags the success of that household to that earning man. Nobody ever appreciates or recognizes the effort that any homemaker is putting. But we know the reality. We know, can we imagine our homes without the homemaker? We know how those homes look. We can't even imagine how being home without our mothers and grandmothers. So I think I'm taking it too far, but I think you got the idea. So support functions are treated like that. No matter how much you work, how much hours you put in your work will always be treated as not so significant, or is of minimal value, or there isn't enough work that you are doing. And core functions will always be treated with little biasness, that everything that they do will get attention. Everything that any idea or input that they want to share, that will be considered. Their requests will be considered more in terms of what they need to do their work efficiently in comparison to a support function employee. By function, I mean department only. So I hope you understand that. And I want you to come with that mindset, because if you come with that mindset, you will be able to approach your work accordingly. And from the day one, you will know that you have to prove your worth every single day. And you have to make sure that you do not let your work get unnoticed. Because if you do that, if you are living in your own world, and if you're thinking that other people will come and realize how hard you're working, or it's your manager's responsibility to recognize you and recognize your hard work, that will never happen. That will never ever happen, because that's just the nature of the job profile. So you have to be on your toes. You have to make sure that your work is getting the required attention so that you can progress well in your career. Because at the end of the day, everybody's working for better career progression, better money at work. Nobody's working for charity. And it's not so that HR doesn't have enough work. That's a myth. Once you join HR, you'll get to know how much work is there to be done. And yes, by the way, by this example, I didn't mean that being a HR is equal to being a homemaker or anything of that sort. Please don't come at me regarding that. I just gave you the example so that you understand the context. On number 3 is a very important point, and that is being a postman between management and employees. A lot of times you will feel that your job as a HR is limited to just being a postman between the management and the employees. Like, management has told you something and you are supposed to convey that to employees effectively and then manage the consequences of that communication. That's all. I mean, there will be a lot of times when you will feel this, and it's not so that it's only limited to HR profile. With experience, I have realized that it's not only with HR, it's with other profiles as well. Maybe not as much as it is in HR, but yes, certainly there are times when everybody feels like they are supposed to follow what is being just told to them. We are not allowed to use our brains and not allowed to use our creativity at work. That feeling can be in any profile, but in HR, it's very prominent. And at times it will frustrate you a lot and you will start questioning your career choice. You will question that, was it a good choice that you made? Like I did. I mean, there was a time in my career when I really questioned my choice. In my head, I was like, did I do the right thing by dropping my software development career for this, for just being a postman between management and the employees? But yes, it's definitely just a part of your job. That phase will come and go. You will learn to outgrow it and you will be able to see a lot of other things when you start climbing that hierarchy. So hang in there. And obviously, as I said, this is not to scare you. I'm just sharing this so that you have this in your mind. And if someday you question your career choice, so just know that this is with everyone and it's bound to happen. Next point on the list is that management sees everything in terms of numbers. Cost, benefit, profit, revenue, everything is going to be measured in numbers. And when you start working as a HR, it's very easy to get carried away with the operational structure of the profile. I mean, you're dealing with people. Not everything can be measured. For example, you implemented some new employee engagement policy and you want to measure how it has impacted the productivity of employees. I mean, it's very difficult to come up with that metrics, to come up with those numbers. So the role of HR is such that it's very difficult to get things into numbers unless you strive for it from the day one you join that company. Unless you force it, it will not happen. Unless you tag every single task of yours to some measurable metrics or any measurable way, it will not happen by default. And mind you, management is going to see your worth only when you show them the numbers. You show them the changes in metrics. So I am here to advise you that from the very first day of your job, start tracking everything that you do. If you're in recruitment, how many profiles you source, how many people you approach, what kind of recruitment strategy you're following, how your recruitment strategy is saving the cost to the company, how the new employee referral program that you launched, how it is helping to save the cost to the company in comparison to the last policy. Every single thing. If you are handling exits, then make sure you track from which team they are, to which manager most of the people report to who are exiting. Every single matrix that can come to your mind, track it for every single thing. If you do not keep track, believe me, by the end of the year, when you sit in your appraisal discussion, you yourself will not have anything to say. Because the job is such that you'll be caught up in day-to-day operations. There is no way to measure it unless you start measuring it from the day one. You can't see the difference. You can't tell the numbers to anybody. Then you will regret. You will feel like you didn't do anything or you didn't accomplish anything. You will question your own abilities. But if you start tracking them from the day one, you yourself will be amazed to see how much you achieved. And when numbers speak, they do give you growth that you deserve, because the impact is huge. So do not start your HR job with the expectation that it's a really easy going job. You have to just deal with people, manage their queries. There's no measurable metrics. There's no such thing. In fact, for other roles, their managers can track the metrics or can do some measurable things. But for HRs, you have to do it for yourself. If you want to grow in your career, just do yourself a favor and track everything that you do from the day one. Next point on the list is that you have to really work hard and struggle to even implement the right things to do. There are certain state laws, regulations when it comes to labor laws, contract laws, and everything around that. And then there are policies, or you can say internal laws of the companies, which are essentially called as policies. So you might feel that these are obvious things. I mean, everybody know. Why will people go against these laws or ignore these policies? And mind you, as a HR, you will have to literally act as a police to take care that people are not violating those policies and those laws, because even at positions where you will expect it the least among the management or senior people, it will happen there as well. People will ignore these laws, these policies, and they will act as per their convenience. And then when things gets messy, HR will be held equally responsible as that person who actually did the wrong thing. So let me give you one example so that you understand. Say, for example, the company has a policy that no manager can hire a family member into the team or into the company. Policy can be any. So, and you see that a really senior manager is trying to hire his own family member in his team or maybe a colleague's team, and you know that, you notice that, but you are at really junior level and you think that if such a senior manager is doing it, that means he has approval, or maybe the policy has changed, or maybe he has worked around it in some way and got the approval. But mind you, my friend, that's not the case. If you see it happening, point it then and there, because if you let it happen, you'll be equally responsible for violating this policy, and more than that manager, you and your position will get harmed. You might lose your job. So do not get caught up into this. If it's a policy, it's a policy. Do not assume that employees, and especially employees at senior level, all will by default follow these. Yes, you will have to reiterate them the obvious things. Yes, you will have to remind them 100 times the same thing, the right thing to do, the right process to do. And yes, there will be people who will show ignorance over and over again. Maybe they are really absent-minded, or maybe they are just trying out their luck that if there is some way they can get around it. So as a HR, make sure that no matter at what level you are, compliance, policies, laws are for you to manage. You are responsible to manage them well, and you can't really trust 100% the ways of working of people, no matter at what level they are sitting in the company. There are tons of things that I can keep talking about, because I really want to make people aware about the inside stories of being a HR, because I think, like me, a lot of people do not know what exactly HR looks like and what kind of mindset they should come up with. Because if you come equipped, it will be really easy for you to progress in your career, in comparison to where you come really naive and you learn the hard way like me, and then you question your career choice. And to really answer the question with which we started the video, that do I regret my HR career? So to that, guys, definitely no, I do not regret it. But yes, there have been several moments in my career, especially when I started, where I questioned my career choice. But over time, I learned the things the hard way, but I really learned them well, and I found my way. I figured out a way with which I can grow really well and catch up to all the gap that was created. Especially at this point in my career, I have made choices at my own terms and conditions, and I'm really happy wherever I am and whatever I have achieved. So I think I can go on and on for hours once I start talking about my HR experience and all the companies that I've worked in. So you guys, let me know what you enjoy in these videos and what are the specific topics that you want me to discuss on this channel. I'll definitely love to make videos as per your inputs. And with that, I'm signing off. You keep on watching more content on the HR destination to be a successful HR, and I'll catch you in my next one. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.